This recording is the Odyssey Book 24. Peace. Now Cillian Hermes called away the suitor's ghost, holding firm in his hand the wand of fine pure gold that enchants the eyes of men whenever Hermes wants or wakes us up from sleep. With a wave of this he stirred and led them on, and the ghosts trailed after with high thin cries as bats cry in the depths of a dark haunted cavern. Shrilling, flintering, wild, when one drops from the chain, slipped from the rock face, while the rest cling tight. So with their high thin cries the ghosts flocked now, and Hermes the healer led them on. Down the dank mouldering path and past the ocean streams they went, and past the white rock and the sun's western gates, and past the land of dreams. Soon they reached the field of a fostel where the dead, the burnt-out wraiths of mortals make their home. Little analyzation. Pretty sure Hermes is leading the suitors somewhere because they're poop butts and deserve to die and whatever. There they found the ghosts of Peleus' son Achilles, Patroclus, Phyleus, and Tylius, and great Ajax too. The first in stature, first in build and bearing, all of the Argives after Peleus' matchless son. They had grouped around Achilles' ghost, and now the shade of Atreides' son, Agamemnon, marched toward them, fraught with grief and flanked by all his comrades, troops of his men-at-arms who died beside him, who met their fate in Lord Aegis' halls. Achilles' ghost was first to greet him. Agamemnon, you were the one we thought, with all of our fighting princes, Zeus who loves the lightning favored most, all your days because you command such a powerful host of men on the fields of Troy where we Achaeans suffered. But you are doomed to encounter fate so early, you too, yet no one born escaped its deadly force. If only you had died your death in the full flush of glory you had mastered, died on Trojan soil, then all united Achaea would have raised your tomb, and you would have won your son great fame for years to come. Not so, you were fated to die a wretched death. Kinda sounds like he's insulting him. That's not too nice. And the ghost of Atreides, Agamemnon answered, Son of Peleus, great godlike Achilles, happy man, you died on the field of Troy, a world far from home. The best of Trojan and Argive champions died around you, fighting for your corpse. And you, there you lay in the whirling dust, overpowered in all your power and wiped from memory of all your horsemen's skill. That day we fought, we had never stopped if Zeus had not stopped us with sudden gales. That we bore you out of fighting onto ships, and we laid you down a litter, cleansed your hands and flesh with warm water, soothing oils, and round your body. Troops of Daunans wept hot tears and cut their locks. Hearing your news, your mother, Thetis, rose from the sea, immortal sea nymphs in her wake, with a strange unearthly cry, came throbbing over the ocean. Terror gripped Achaean armies. They would have leapt in panic, boarding the long, shallow ships, if one man, deep in his old age wisdom, had not checked on them. Nestor, from the first, his counsel always seemed the best, and now, concerned for their ranks, he rose and shouted, Hold fast, Argive, son of Achaea, don't run now. This is Achilles' mother, rising from the sea, with her immortal sea nymphs. She longs to join her son who died in battle. That stopped our panicked horses in their tracks, as the old man of the sea's daughters gathered round you, wailing, heartsick, dressed you in ambrosial, deathless robes, and the muses, 9 in all, voice to voice in chorus, their vibrant music rising, raised your dirige. Not one soldier would you have seen dry-eyed, for the muses' song pierced us to the heart. For 17 days unbroken, days and nights, we mourned you, immortal gods and mortal men. At the 18th dawn we gave you to the flames, and slaughtered you round your body, droves of fat sheep and shambling longhorn cattle, and you were burned in the garments of gods, and lathered with soothing oils, and honey running sweet, and a long cortege of Aryan heroes paraded in review, in battle armor round your blazing pyre. Men in chariots, men on foot, a resounding roar went up. Oh, that was a long sentence. And once the god of fire had burned your corpse to ash, at first light we gathered your white bones, Achilles, cured them in strong neat wine and seasoned oils. Your mother gave us a gold 2-handed urn, a gift from Dionysus, she said, a masterwork of the famous smith, the god of fire. Your white bones rest in that, my brilliant Achilles, mixed with the bones of the dead Patroclus, Mentonius' son. Apart from those in Telios whom you treasured more than all your commons, once Patroclus died. Over your bones we reared the grand noble tomb, devoted veterans and all, Achaea's combat forces high on its jutting headland over the Hellespont's broad reach, a landmark glimpsed far out to sea by men of our own day and men to come. That was a long excursion poem thing. And basically it was just Agamemnon saying, wow, Achilles, you had the best death and best funeral and everyone loves you. Okay, continuing. And then your mother, begging the gods for priceless trophies, sent them out in a ring for all our champions. You and your day have witnessed funeral games for many heroes, games to honor the death of kings, when young men cried, cinched their belts, tends to win some prize. But if you laid eyed on these, it would have thrilled your heart. Magnificent trophies the goddesses, glistening foot Thetis, held out in your honor. You were dear to the gods. Even even in death your name will never die. Greatest glory is yours, Achilles, for all time in the isles and mankind. I mean, he was right. His name never will die because there's Achilles as a part of your body. He will forever be spoken of. But I, what joy for me when the cold coil of war had wound down. For my return, Zeus hatched a pitiful death at the hands of Aegisthus and my accursed wife. Yeah, he kind of died a very sucky death compared to him. In this case, the grass was greener on the other side, in a way. As they exchanged the story of their fates, Hermes the guide and giant killer drew up close to both, leading down the ghosts of the suitors King Odysseus killed. Oh, they're calling him King Odysseus now. I guess it makes sense because he's restored. It's pretty cool. Struck by the sight, the two went up to them right away, and the ghost of Atreides' son Agamemnon recognized the noted prince Amphibiodon, Menelaus' dear son, who received him once in Ithaca. At his home, an Atreides ghost called out to his old friend now, Amphibion, what disaster brings you down to this dark world? All of you good picked men in all your prime, no captain out to recruit the best in the city, could have chosen better. What laid you low, wrecked in the ships when Lord Poseidon roused some punishing blast of gales and heavy breakers? Or did ranks of enemies mow you down on land as you tried to raid and cut off herds and flocks, or fought to win their city, or take their women? Ew, not funny. Oh, I skipped a page. Oops. Answer me, tell me. I was once your guest. Don't you recall the day I came to visit your house in Ithaca? King Menelaus came to urge Odysseus to sail with us in the ships on our campaign to Troy. As the long slow voyage, crossing wastes of ocean, cost us 1 whole month. That's how hard to bring him round, Odysseus, famous Atrides, and Phineas Ghost called back. Lord of men, Agamemnon, I remembered all your majesty as you say now, and I will tell you, start to finish, the story of our death. The brutal end contrived to take us all. Wait, his son was courting the Penelope? Hang on, this is like lore. Basically, Menelaus, his son, was one of the suitors, which doesn't make much sense because his dad's already a king, so he's a prince. So I don't know why he's going after Penelope. Guess she's just that pretty. She's like beautiful. And now he's telling the story of how he died because he got his butt whooped by Odysseus. We were courting the wife of Odysseus, gone so long. She neither spurred nor embraced a marriage she despised. No, she simply planned our death, our black doom. Yeah, because she's smart. This was her latest masterpiece of Gilly. She set up a great loom in the royal halls and she began to weave. Then, weaning five spun, the yarn is endless, she would lead us on. Young men, my suitors, now that King Odysseus is no more, go slowly, keen as you are to marry me, until I finish off this web. So my weaving won't all fray and come to nothing. This is a shroud for the old lord Laertes, for that day when the deadly fate that lays us out will at last take him down. I dread the shame my countrywoman would heap on me. Yes, if such a man of such wealth would not lie in a state without a shroud for cover. So yeah, she's very smart and basically tricked all of them because she's a queen, and I love her. Her very words, and despite our pride and passion, we believed her. So by day she'd weave at her great and growing web. By night, by the light of torches set beside her, she would unravel what she'd done. 3 whole years she deceived us blind, seduced us with this scheme. Then, when the wheeling seasons brought the 4th year on, and the months worn, and the long days came round once more, one of her women, in on the crane seekers, told the truth, and we caught her in the act, unweaving her gorgeous web. So she finished it off, against her will. We forced her. Those were 2 very short sentences. I just read 2 3-worded sentences in the Odyssey. Guys, do we realize how rare this is? Usually they're like 5 pages long, but it was a 3-word sentence. Crazy. But just as she bound off that great shroud and washed it, spread it out, glistening like the sunlight or the moon, Just then some wicked spirit brought Odysseus back, from God knows where, to the edge of his estate where the swineherd kept his pigs, and back to the same place came Odysseus' own dear son, scudding home in his black ship from sandy Pylos. The pair of them schemed our doom, our death trap. They lit out for town. Telemachus first, in fact, Odysseus followed later, led by the swineherd, clad in tatters, looking for all the world like an old and broken beggar, hunched in a stick, his body wrapped in shameful rags. Oh, his disguised. Disguised so none of us, not even the older ones, could spot the tramp for the man he really was, bursting in on us there out of the blue. No, we attacked him, blows and insults flying fast. He took it all for a time. In his own house, all the taunts and blows. He had the heart of iron. But once the will of thundering Zeus had roused his blood, he and Telemachus bore the burnished weapons off and stood them deep in the storeroom, shot the bolts, and he, the soul of cunning, told his wife to set the great bow and gleaming iron axes out before the suitors. All of us doomed now. Well, he didn't tell her to do it. That was her own thought, because she knew. And then that's what happens, because she's smart. To test our skill and bring our slaughter on. Not one of us had the strength to string the powerful weapon. All of us fell far short of what it took. But then, when the bow was coming round to Odysseus' hands, we raised a hue and cry. He must not have it, no matter how he begged. Only Telemachus urged him to take it up. Once he got it in his clutches, long-suffering great Odysseus strung his bow with ease and shot it through the axes. Then, vaulting under the threshold, stood there, poised and pouring his flashing arrows out before him, glaring for the kill. He cut Antonius down, and then shot his painful arrows into the rest of us, aiming straight and true, and down we went, corpse on corpse in droves. Clearly a god was driving him and all his henchmen. Ooh, he's onto something. Athena was, in fact, there. This guy's actually a little bit smart, but stupid for trying to marry Penelope. Routing us headlong in their fury down the hall, wheeling into the slaughter, slashing left and right, the grisly screams broke from our skulls, cracked open, the whole floor awash with blood. Died Agamemnon. Our bodies lie untended even now, strewn in Odysseus' palace. They know nothing yet, the kin in our houses who might wash our wounds, applauded gore, and lay us down in Morris. These are all the solemn honors owed the dead. Wait! Because Athena made everyone forget them, they never got burials. They just, they're just gone. It's kind of sad, but, they were pretty bad people, trying to marry a woman and then sleeping with her maids and stuff. Come on. Happy Odysseus, Agamemnon's ghost cried out, son of old Laertes, mastermind, what a fine, faithful wife you won. A good sense resided in your Penelope. How well Achilles' daughter remembers you, Odysseus, the man she married once. The fame of her great virtue will never die. The immortal gods will lift a song for all mankind, a glorious song to praise of self-possessed Penelope. A far cry from the daughter of Tendinarius Clytemnestra, what outrage she committed, killing the man she married once. Yes, and the song men sing of her will ring of loathing. She brands with a foul name the breed of womankind, even the honest ones come. Okay, so basically they're praising her because she never cheated on her wife, which I guess is good, but they're basically saying a proper woman, which makes sense. It just sounds kind of misogynistic coming from the man and the way he's saying it. But at least he's praising Penelope, which kind of proves more to the point that this probably was not written by Homer because he did not treat the woman kindly. And all the conspiracy theories of being there was never a book 24. And yeah, it's literally called Peace. It's a book about war and all this stuff, and the chapter is called Peace, and it's praising women. What other cues can I get? So they traded stories, the two ghosts standing there in the house of debts, far in the hidden depths below the earth. Odysseus and his men had striden down from town and quickly reached Laertes' well-tended farm. The old king himself had wrestled from the winds years ago, laboring long and hard. So his lodge was here, and around it stretched a row of sheds where fuel hands, bondsmen who did his bidding sat and ate and slept. Oh, they're at his house. They're visiting him. His father-son reunion. And an old Scythian woman was in charge, who faithfully looked after her aged master out of his good estate remote from town. Odysseus told his servants and his son, into the timber-head lodge, go now quickly, kill us the fattest pork or fix our meal, and I will put my father to test, to see if the old man knows me now on sight or fails to after 20 years apart. Well, because I read the book preview thing, I know he's going to fail to recognize him, but then he'll be super happy after a while. With that, he passed his armor to his men, and In they went at once, his son as well. Odysseus wandered off, approaching the thriving vineyard, pickling his way down to the great orchard, searching, but found neither Dolius nor his sons, nor any hand. They'd just gone off, old Dolius in the lead, to gather stones for a dry retaining wall to shore up the vineyard up. But he did find his father alone on that well-worked plot, spading around a sapling, clad in filthy rags, in a parched, unseemly shirt, and round his shins he had some ox-hide leggings strapped on and patched too, to keep from getting scraped. The gloves in his hands fight against the thorns, and his head he wore a goatskin skull cap to cultivate his misery. That's so much more. Okay, so his dad's living pretty humbly for a past king. Like, he still should be considered royalty, but he's basically living by himself in scraps, which is kind of sad because he was probably grieving his wife and his son so much. Long enduring Odysseus, catching sight of him now, and man worn down with years, his heart racked with sorrow, halted under a branching pear tree, paused and wept, debating head and heart what she'd do now, kiss and embrace his father, pour out the long tale, how he had made the journey home to native land, or probe him first and test him every way. Torn, mulling over it, this seemed better. Well, I already know he's going to test the old man first because he's Odysseus. Test the old man first. Called it. Approaching with words that cut him to the core, convinced, Odysseus went right up to his father. Wait, so he's gonna make him sad? That's kind of twisted. Not sure how much I approve of that, Odysseus. Laertes was digging around the sapling, head bent low, yet his famous offspring hovered over him and began. You want no skill, old man, at tending a garden. All's well kept here, not one thing in the plot, no plant, no fig, no pear, no olive, no vine, not a vegetable lacks your tender, loving care. But I must say, don't be offended now, your plants are doing better than yourself. Even stooped with age, look how squalid you are. All those shabbily rags, he's insulting his dad. It's kind of mean. Surely it's not, for sloth your master lies lets you go to sea. There's nothing of a slave about your build or bearing. I have eyes. You look like a king to me. The sort entitled to bathe, sup well, and then sleep in a soft bed. That's the right and pride of you old timers. He's kind of he's doing backhanded compliments right now. This is kind of funny. Hang on, I lost my spot. Uh, Come now, tell me, in no uncertain terms, whose slave are you? Whose orchard are you tending? And tell me this, I must be absolutely sure. This place I've reached, is it truly Ithaca? Just that fellow told me just now. I fell in with him on the road here, clumsy, none too friendly, couldn't trouble himself to hear me out or give me a decent answer. When I asked about a long-lost friend of mine, whether he's still alive somewhere in Ithaca, or dead or gone already, lost in the house of death. Do you want to hear the story? Listen, catch my drift. I once played host to a man in my own country. He come to my door, the most welcome guest from foreign parts I've ever entertained. I bet he's complimenting himself. He does that very well. Whenever he's telling fake stories, he makes Odysseus sound amazing. He claimed he came from good Ithacan stock, that his father was Arsenius' son, Laertes. So I took the new arrival under my roof. I gave him a hero's welcome, treated him in style, stores in our palace made princely entertainment, and I gave my friend some gifts to fit his station, handed him 7 bars of well-wrought gold. Dude, is money not a thing here? They're just giving away so much stuff, like the Phaeacians, and this fake story makes it sound like everyone's just insanely rich. A mixing bowl of solid silk. Oh my god, it keeps on going. Etched with flowers and a dozen clothes, unlined and light. A dozen rags and as many full-cut capes and shirts as well. To top it off, 4 women, perfect beauties, skilled in crafts. He could pick them out himself. Ew! He gave him women as a gift? Ugh, that's disgusting to me. Wait, so Odysseus really is okay with cheating. I feel like we conveniently left that part out of our chapter. I would have totally used that in the Odysseus convent and grilled him for it. Freaking was given 4 women when he was a guest. Does that happen to every time? Is that customary? You give them women? Ugh. Disgusting. Stranger, his father answered, weeping softly. The land you have reached is the very one you're after, true, but it's in the grip of reckless, lawless men. As for the gifts you showered in your gift, you gave them all for nothing. But if you found him alive here in Ithaca, he would have replied in kind with gift for gift, and entertained you warmly before he sent you off. So Odysseus would have gave him women too, gift for gift. Ew, hate him even more now. There's the old custom when one has led the way, but please, in no uncertain terms, how many years ago did you host the man, that unfortunate guest of yours, my son? There was a son, or was he all a dream? That most unlucky man who now, I fear, is far from his own soul and those he loves. The fish have swallowed down the high seas, or birds and beasts on land have made their meal. Nor could the ones who bore him, their father, wrap his corpse in a shroud and mourn him deeply. Nor could his warm, generous wife, so self-possessed Penelope, ever keen on her husband on his deathbed, the fit and prop way, or close his eyes at last. These are the solemn honors owed to the dead. But tell me your own story. That I'd like to know. Who are you? Where are you from? Your city? Your parents? Where does that ship lie moored that you brought here? Your hardy shipmates too? Or did you arrive as a passenger aboard some stranger's craft? The men who put you ashore have pulled away. Okay, so even more that I'm thinking this is not written by Homer, there are so many short sentences. Like I'm running across like 3-word sentences, 2-word sentences. Like this part's like, who are you? Where are you from? Your city, your parents. It's ending. And throughout the entire book, I've been struggling because the sentences last like 3 lines, 4 lines, and it's a bunch of commas. But now they're like, every now and then there's a long one and then a super short one. It's like not, it's like different style, if that makes sense. So I don't think this was written by Homer. I agree with you, Mr. Rugeley. It's a little bit fishy. The hotel, bleh, the whole tale, his crafty son replied. I'll tell you start to finish. I came here from Romer Town. My home's a famous place. My father's unsparing, son of old King Pain. My name's Man of Strife. I sailed from Sicily, but some ill wind blew me here. Of course, much against my will, my ship lies moored off the farmlands far from town. As for Odysseus, well, 5 years has passed since he left my house and put my land behind him. Luckless man. But the birds were good as he launched out all the right, and I rejoiced as I sent him off, and he rejoiced in sailing. We had high hopes to meet again as guests, as old friends, trading some shiny gifts. Why is he still lying? He could have come out clean about it by now. Oh my goodness. At those words a black cloud of grief came shrouding over Laertes, both hands clawing the ground in dirt and grime. He poured over his grizzled head, sobbing in spasms. Odysseus' heart shuddered, and a sweat and twine went shooting up through his nostrils, watching his dear father struggle. He sprang toward him, kissed him, hugged him, crying, Father, I am your son, myself, the man you are seeking, home after 20 years, on native ground at last. Hold back your tears, your grief. Let me tell you news, but we must hurry. I've cut the suitors down from our house. I've paid them back their outways, vicious crimes. I feel like everyone's too trusting sometimes. Like, he was just telling him story, and then all of a sudden he goes, wait, never mind, I actually am your son. Like, people are either really gullible, or it's just like lying is so uncommon because of like gods or something. Odysseus, Laertes, catching his breath, found words to answer. You're truly my son, Odysseus, home at last? Give me a sign, some proof, I must be sure. Okay, never mind, he is smart. I thought he was just going to go along with it. The scar first. Quick to the mark, his son said. Look at this, the wound I took from the boar's white tusk on Mount Parnassus. There you sent to me your mother. I see her fond old father, Autolycus, can't pronounce that, and collect the gifts he vowed to give me once he came to see us here. Or these trees. Let me tell you these trees you gave me years ago. Here on this well-worked plot, I begged you for everything. I saw a little boy trailing you through the orchard, picking your way among these trees, and you named them one by one. You gave me 13 pear, 10 apple trees, and 40 figs, and promised me, look, 50 vineyards bearing hard on each other's heels, a cluster of grapes year round, at every grade of ripeness, mellowed by Zeus' seed and wind. Living proof, and Laertes' knees went slack, his heart surrendered, recognizing the clear signs Odysseus offered. He threw around his arms around his own dear son, fainting as hardly great Odysseus hugged him to his heart until he regained his breath, came back to life, and cried out, Father Zeus, you gods of Olympus, you still rule on high. If those suitors had truly played in blood for all their reckless outrage. Oh, but now my heart quakes with fear that all the Ithacans will come down on us in a pack at any time, and rush alarm through every island town. Oh, yay, reuniting. This is sweet. There's nothing to fear, his candy son replied. Put it from your mind. Let's make for your lodge beside the orchard here. I sent Telemachus on ahead, the cowherd Swinyard too, to fix a hasty meal. So the two went home, confiding all the way, and arriving at the temple timbered lodge, they found Telemachus with 2 herdsmen carving sides of meat and mixing ruddy wine. Before they ate, the Scalian serving woman bathed her master's Laertes, his spirits high, in his own room, and rubbed him down with oil. and round his shoulders drew a fresh new cloak, and Athena stood beside him, fleshing out limbs of the old comrade, and made him taller to all eyes, his build more massive, stepping from his path. So his own son gazed at him, wonder-struck, face to saying, a deathless god, Father, Odysseus' word had wings. Surely one of the everlasting gods has made taller, strong, shining in my eyes. Dude, what is with Athena and giving people upgrades? Like, this is the second time. I feel like this is like a little bit. She's kind of just like messing with people now. I feel like this is for her own gain. Facing his son, the wise man returned. If only Father Zeus, Athena, and Lord Apollo, I were the man I was, king of the Cephians, when I sacked the city of Nereus, sturdy fortress on its jutting cape. If I had been young in arms last night in our house, with harness on my back, standing beside you, fighting off the suitors, how many I would have cut from the knees from under, the heart inside you would have leapt for joy. So father and son confirmed each other's spirits, and then, with roasting done, the meal set out, the others took their seats in chairs and stools, or just putting their heads to bread and meat when old Dolius trudged in with his sons, worn from field work. The old stallion had gone and fetched them home. The mother who reared the boys and tended Dolius well. Now the years had ground the old man down. When they saw Odysseus, knew him in their bones, they stopped in their tracks, staring, struck dumb. But the king waved them on with warm and easy air. Sit down to your food, old friend. Snap out of your wonder. We've been cooling on your heels long enough. Eager to get our hands on pork, hoping he'll troop in at any moment. Spreading his arm, Dolius rushed up to him, clutched Odysseus by the ribs, and kissed his hand, greeting his king now with a burst of winning words. Dear master, you're back, the answer to our prayers. We lost all hope, but the gods have brought you home. Welcome, health, the skies rain, blessing you. Tell me the truth now, this I'd like to know. Shrewd Penelope, has she heard you're home, or should we send a messenger? Oh, I love how they care about Penelope. I like this guy. Dolius, he's my new favorite person in the book. She knows by now, old man, his willy master answered briefly. Why busy yourself with that? So Dolius went back to his standard stool, his sons too, pressing round the famous king, greeted Odysseus warmly, grasping him by the hand as they took their seats in order by their father. But now they fell to supper in the lodge. Rumor the herald sped like wildfire through the city, crying the news of the suitors' bloody death and doom, amassing from every quarter as they listened. Kingsmen mouthed with wails and moans of grief before Odysseus' palace as they carried out the bodies. Every family buried their own, and the dead from other towns they loaded onto rapid ships for crews to ferry back home, each to his own home. Then, along morning file, they moved to assembly, where, once they had grouped, crowding the meeting grounds, old Lord Euphides rose in the midst to speak out. Unforgettable sorrow wrung his heart for his son, Antonius, the first that great Odysseus killed. In tears for the one he lost, he stood and cried, My friends, what a mortal blow this mail has dealt to all our island people. Most fighter, many and brave, he led away on his curved ships. He lost the ships, and he lost the men, and back he comes again to kill off our best Salian princes. Quick, after him, before he flees to Pylos, or holy Elis, where Euphians rule in power. Up, attack, or we'll hang our heads forever, all disgraced, even by generations down the years, if we don't punish the murderers for our brothers and sons. Okay, so I remember how the Menelaus' son was one of the suitors that died. Is Menelaus just going to receive a dead body in a ship that says, hey, your best friend killed your son, have a good day, bury him now? Like, that feels so wrong on so many levels. I feel like I'm glad I don't live in ancient Greece. Why life would lose its relish, for me at least, I'd rather die at once and go among the dead, attacked before the assassins cross the sea and leave us in their wake. He closed in tears, and compassion ran through every Athenian there. Suddenly Medon, an inspired bard, approached them, fresh from Odysseus' house, where they had just awakened. They strode into the crowds. Amazement took each man, but the herald Medon spoke in all his wisdom. Hear me, men of Ithaca, not without the hand of the deathless gods did Odysseus do such things. Myself I saw an immortal fighting at his side like mentor to life. I saw the same god now in front of Odysseus, spurring him on, now stampeding the suitors through the hall, crazed with fear as they went on in droves. Terror gripped them all, their faces ashen white. At last the old warrior Laertes, master's son, who alone could see the days behind and days ahead, rose up and spoke, distraught for each man there. Hear me, men of Ithaca, hear what I have to say. Thanks to your own craven hearts, all these things were done. You never listened to me or good commander mentor. You never put to stop to your senseless folly. And what fine work they did, so blind, so reckless, craving away the wealth, affronting the wife of a great and famous man, telling themselves that he'd return no more. So let these things rest now. Listen to me for once, I'll say, don't attack, else something will draw lightning to their necks. Essentially he's saying Zeus will kill them because the gods are on the side of Odysseus, and like they shouldn't throw a hissy fit because they let their sons go around and do whatever they want, because the sons should not have been going after a married woman. Not good. So he urged, and some held fast to their seats, but more than half sprang up with war seas now. They had no taste for the prophet's same plan. Winning Euphrates quickly won them over. They ran for armor, and once they harnessed up in burnished bronze, they grouped in ranks before the terror city. Euphrates laid them in their foolish, mad campaign, certain he would avenge the slaughter of his son. But the father was not destined to return. He'd meet his death in battle there and then. Oh? Oh, is he the one guy that died? Oops. Athena at this point made appeals to Zeus, father, son of Cronos, our high and mighty king. Now let you ask me a question. Tell me the secrets hidden in your mind. Will you prolong the pain and cruel fighting here, or hand down packs of peace between both sides? My child, Zeus who marshals the thunderheads replied, why do you pry and probe me so intently? Come now, wasn't the plan your own? You conceived it yourself. Odysseus should return and pay the traitors back. Do as your heart desires, but let me know how it should be done. That royal Odysseus has taken his revenge. Let both sides seal their pacts that he shall reign for life. Let us purge their memories of the bloody slaughter of their brothers and son. Let them be friends devoted to his old days. Let peace and welcome crescent lands. Oh, I just realized something. Because Poseidon cursed him that if he ever were to get home, all his friends would die and everyone that he loves would die. And because of the curse, I'm guessing it's what made the people, like the suitors, make them want to kill his friends. Because if Athena never intervened just now, they would have killed everyone and the curse would have gone through. Like, even though he made it home, everyone he loves would be gone. So the only reason the curse is broken is because of Athena. So she kind of, screwed over Poseidon. So Zeus decreed and launched Athena, already poised for action. Down she swept Olympus's craggy peaks. By then Odysseus's men had their fill of hardy fare, and the seasoned captain said, one of you go outside, see if they're closing in. The son of Dalius snapped to his command, ran to the door, and saw them all too close, and shouted back to Odysseus, they're on top of us, 2 arms and fast. Up they sprang and strapped themselves in armor, 3 men with Odysseus, Dalius' 6 sons, and Dalius and Laertes clapped on armor too. Gray as they were, but they would fight if forced. Oh, gray as they were, I'm guessing it's referencing the gray hair that they have. They opened the doors and strode out, Odysseus and Lee. Now, taking the build of voice and mentor, Zeus's daughter Athena marched right in. The good soldier Odysseus, thrilled to see her, turned to his son and said in haste, Telemachus, you have learned soon enough, as you move up in a fight where champions strive to prove themselves the best, not to disgrace your father's line at any moment, and battle prowess she's succeeded for ages all around the world. Telemachus reassured him, now you'll see, father, if you care to watch. I'm fired up. Disgrace, you say? I won't disgrace your line. Basically, he's giving a pep talk saying, don't mess stuff up because you come from a famous line. You can't be ruining my name. That's kind of funny. Laertes called out in deep delight, what a day for me, dear gods, what joy, my son and my grandson vying over courage. Laertes, goddess Athena, rushed up beside him, eyes ablaze. Son of Achilles, dearest of all my comrades, say a prayer to the bright-eyed girl and Father Zeus, and then brandish your long spear and wing it fast. Athena breathed enormous strength in the old man. He lifted a prayer to mighty Zeus's daughter, brandished his spear, and in a moment winged it fast. It hit Euophitel, pierced his bronze-sided helmet, and that failed to block the bronze point tearing through. Down Euphrates crashed, his armor clanging against his chest. Odysseus and his gallant son charged straight at the front lines, slashing away with swords, with two-edged spears, and now they would have killed them all, cut them from their home, if Athena, darned of storming Zeus, had not cried out in a piercing voice that had stopped all the fighters cold. Hold back, you men of Ithaca, back from brutal war. Break off, shed no more blood, make peace at once. So Athena commanded. Terror blanched their faces. They went limp with fear, weapons sliding down from their hands, and strewed on the ground at the goddess's ringing voice. They sprung in flight to the city, wild to save their lives, but loosing a savage cry. The long-enduring great Odysseus gathered all his force and swooped like a soaring eagle, just as the son of Cronos hurled a reeking bolt that fell at our feet. The mighty father's daughter and blazing-eyed Athena wheeled on Odysseus, crying, royal son of Laertes, Odysseus, master of exploits, hold back now. Call to a halt of the great lever. War, don't court the rage of Zeus who rules the world. So she commanded, he obeyed her, glad at heart, and Athena handed down her pact of peace between both sides for all years to come. The daughter of Zeus, whose shield is storm, is thunder, but yes, the goddess that kept mentors, build, and voice. And that's the end of the book. Basically, it definitely does not sound like it was written by Homer. It kind of just ended up them saying, "Oh, stop fighting," and Athena left. And I think it's kind of cool how the book starts with Athena and ends with Athena. So yeah, the gods kind of ruled the world. And that's it.